Today on One, Always There.
Today on One, your daily dose of local affairs and social media commentary.
Today on One, hashtag Ons is Moeg cries Namibian youth. Education Ministry secures additional COVID-19 aid. And MTC Sunshine Academy schedules first ever closed door boxing bonanza.
Hundreds of youth took to the streets of Windhoek to protest against violence against women and children. The demonstration is in light of the discovery of human remains at Walvis Bay recently, which is suspected to be that of Shannon Wassefall, who went missing in April this year.
They're all gathered here for Shannon. For Shannon and every other girl who's missing right now that still needs to be found, dead or alive. We want justice. We want our cries and our voices to be heard. We want every single one who's watching to know that we are tired and that we want justice and that this is not a joke and that we're not doing this for fun and we're not doing this because we want to. But because we want justice, not only for Shannon, but every other black and white girl out there, yes, dead or alive, we want justice!
To the person who killed Sharon, surrender yourself to the police, to the family. Don't hide. God is in control. To the family, let's put everything in the hands of God. The person who killed Sharon, please go to the police, go to the community, go to someone so that you can tell the person, no, it's you, or the group who killed Sharon. Please surrender yourself to the police or go to the social worker and tell them, you know it's us. Don't hide. God is in control. Everything which is hide is going to come out in Jesus' name. The family, the mama, Poppy, please put everything in the hands of God. God is in control. Thank you.
SGBV and femicide. It is clearly a problem. We clearly have a situation. Women, girls are going missing. Their body parts are being taken. This should be a state of emergency. This should be the kind of day that you actually shut the country down, because the entire country feels this moment and we don't want to go through this again. No woman deserves to go through this. No person deserves to go through this. We all deserve equality and a safe life.
The hashtag Shut It All Down protest saw young people march to Nampol headquarters, Ministry of Justice and the Parliament.
Namibian institutions of higher learning mandate the review of institutional codes of conduct to coherently address sexual and gender-based violence among students and on campus. We immediately demand that we mandate the review of disciplinary processes in respect of dealing with sexual and gender-based violence. It's not okay that people who are accused of sexual crimes on campus are still roaming free. There is a flaw in disciplinary processes and we demand the immediate review of those processes. And we immediately demand that to mandate the curricular development and implementation of a national rape sexual violence prevention program in schools for implementation in 2021. To the Ministry of Justice, we demand that we prioritize a sexual offenders registry and make it available to critical and interested bodies, particularly those working with women and children. We demand that we prioritize the establishment of sexual offences courts in order to expertly, effectively, and most importantly, sensitively deal with sexual and gender-based violence cases. 3, we demand that we prioritize the urgent review of sentencing laws for sex offenders and murderers, particularly pertaining to bail, suspension of sentences, and severity.
The protesters' demands were for the Ministry of Basic Education, Arts and Culture, Ministry of Higher Education, the Namibian Police Force, and the Ministry of Justice.
They joined the story of Viola Swartboy, who was found buried naked in a shallow grave in 2015. They paint the story of Sana Garwes, whose body was found in a rubbish bin next to the B1 road in 2005, dissected into two. They paint the story of Melanie Janse, whose body was found lying naked next to Western Bypass in 2015. They joined the story of Juanita Mabula, whose head was found lying next to the B1 road in 2005, decapitated. They joined the story of Magdalena Stoffels, whose body was found with her throat slit in 2010. They joined the story of Miriam Nanjato, who was found dead and nearly decapitated in 2014. The story of Isabella Chizu Kahorore, who was mutilated, stabbed, and shot in 2014. Are you tired? Yes. I'm tired, and we will continue. They joined the story of Annalise Takongele, who was knifed to death in March 2015, of Marlene Gatonje, murdered with a stone in 2015, Cheryl Uyaha, who was mutilated and whose body was found dumped in the bushes in 2018, Dihole Omwene Jolenge, whose mutilated body was found dumped in the bushes in 2018, Rejoice Chovaleka, who was stabbed to death while walking home in 2020. And most recently, the story of Shannon Vassafal, who was reported missing in April 2020 and who has still not confirmed to be found.
Following the protest, Nampol has announced that they have detained a person in connection to the Shannon Wassafal case. Going forward with the investigation, the force is going to conduct a forensic investigation to confirm whether or not the remains will match the missing person who went missing on the 10th of April 2020 in Walvis Bay. Arrangements were immediately made for the skeleton remains to be transported to Windhoek, where a detailed post-mortem will be conducted.
Enjoy these fantastic mid-month savings only at Clicks until 21 October. Buy Protex soap 200 grams for $42. Buy Pampers Pants or new baby mini disposable nappies value packs $118.99 per pack. And buy Nivea shower gel 250 mils 2 for $49. Or buy Vaseline lotion and cream 400 mils 2 for $70. Clicks. Feel good. Pay less.
Telecom Namibia has handed over 55-litre hand sanitizers, 50 sanitizing stations, and 1,000 masks, all valued at 100,000 Namibia dollars, to the Ministry of Education, Arts and Culture to aid against COVID-19 in local schools. Handing over the items, Telecom Namibia's acting chief executive officer said the gesture was necessitated by the call from government to the private sector to assist in curbing the pandemic.
Honorable Minister, Telecom Namibia core business is ICT service. And what we have learned as a country, as a world, as a region during this pandemic, the importance of ICT services in our normal life to play the role of enabling us to communicate with our loved one, to stay in touch with our loved one, to enable us to work from home, and to facilitate and make it possible for online learning. I think beyond any doubt, it has become clear the role it will play going forward in the new normal.
The Minister of Education, Arts and Culture, on receiving the item, said the donation is a much-needed investment by Telecom that comes at a time when local schools have been immensely impacted by the pandemic, adding that her ministry is doing all it can with the minimum resources to ensure safety for learners and teachers.
It is an investment by virtue of you contributing to the education of your future clients, your future employees, and your future customers. You know, the people who will definitely make use of the services you supply. Otherwise, without the future of these children, there is no customers, there is no clients for Telecom. In the same vein, I would also like to thank all our friends of education who have already come on board to support the ministry through innumerable initiatives and gestures. Your contribution will come a long way in ensuring that the Ministry of Education will be favorably placed to carry out its mandate of providing quality education.
The items will be forwarded to the rural schools in various regions, which accommodate learners from marginalized and vulnerable communities. The ministry also received a donation of 260 aprons for school hostels, valued at 20,000 from FNB Namibia.
I'm feeling so bad because I have been arrested. We are trying to sell to provide our kids with food, but the police, they come to arrest us.
I was literally apprehended in Independence Avenue. I mean, there was no prior communications with the police or with Bonn or Telecom Namibia. These guys literally just apprehended us on surprise.
And when you are talking in a manner that is exaggerated about brutality in this country, I should ask you in which country you live.
Yes, I can confirm that indeed there were 2 cell phones that were found after a search was conducted at the cells that the Fish Road accused are staying.
Do you understand the amount of money that the government has spent on the fight against COVID-19? Could they have spent 300 million on tracing people and managing people? Is that even possible?
Having cancelled its Independence Boxing Bonanza that was scheduled to take place in March 2020 due to the outbreak of the global pandemic COVID-19, the MTC Nesta Sunshine Boxing Academy recently announced that the stable will be hosting the very first ever behind closed door boxing bonanza under the theme Together as One Boxing Bonanza. Veteran promoter Nesta Tobias has promised an exciting event, as his top boxers will be in the ring, adding that this event will be used to improve rankings for the boxers, which will allow them to fight for world titles. Tobias also encouraged promoters in the industry to work together in order for them to create fights for their boxers.
We have been in a gym, in and out, and now we're full, hopefully full time, hopefully back forever, stay here. And as me as a promoter, my duty is to make sure these boxers get fights. You know, when you look at boxing, it's about rating, it's about titles, it's about entertainment. So we look at our top boxers. So if you are not fighting, you'll be declared inactive, and we don't want to do that because all the investment is going to go down the drain. So that's why I'm looking at the top. You see Nakathira, Jeremiah Nakathira, who's rated number 3 in the world right now, and we are pushing him to fight for the world title. The one to maintain is active boxer. So you must go out and look for fight for your boxers. If I call you, I can also call you if I know you got a boxer like this. But most boxers, we don't know them. You see, only you know them. What you have in the gym. You see a lot of kids here. Not all the promoters in the world know them, see? But for me, as a coach, as a promoter, matchmaker, to introduce them to the world, so they can be invited to fight anywhere in the world, you know. So that applies also in Namibia, you know. We play in Namibia, let's us work together, let us conduct each other. So the conduct must come from both sides. But for them, as a gym owner, got these kids training every day. You have to go out and fight for these kids.
Considered by Nesta Tobias as one of his fast-growing talents from his stable, with a record of 6 wins from 6 fights, Philippus Janica will be one of the headline fights on the night, who will be up against Gerson Vaeta, with the hope to keep a 100% record with a 7th win.
I'm going to fight Gerson Vaeta. Yeah, no, I know him from long time, since amateur, he's been there, he's a big guy, but I'm going to deal with him. We were working with SPK, he's having a lot of tactics, always telling you what to do and what not to do. we are ready. We are getting ready every day. We are always here.
Currently one of the hottest in the ring and ranked 5th in the welterweight title by the World Boxing Organization, Nika's silent assassin Shonena will be taking on Mendu Kandume. Shonena admitted that it will be a difficult game, but is confident going into the match.
7th of November, I'm going to fight. It's my guy, man, Mendu Kangunde. So it's my guy. We used to be together. So yeah, we are just going to fight him. For now, we are ready. We are prepared, and our preparation is going well. So there's nothing we can say now, like a lot of things to say, but we are just keeping training until we are getting there.
The Together as One Boxing Bonanza is set to take place on the 7th of November 2020 at the Vendu Country Club Resort and Casino.
When you're saying things that degrade women, for me, number one, I am not there, because that is basically what I don't believe in. I don't stand for things that degrade women.
What do you think we can add? What do we put in the basket? First of all, let's put Blossom back in the basket.
Look at the person like it, man. Let's do a song.
Let's do something.
Just
let's
like
collaborate.
Let's collaborate.
The Americans were claiming us.
Yes, exactly. To the rest of the world, they belong to us. Namibia, Baba, Namibia.
I'll help you carry on.
Creating music and putting some stuff out for the people who've been supporting me, that's definitely something that's next on my list.
In other leading stories, the Women's Leadership Center was informed by the WLC community leader Auleria Muyakwi on the 3rd of October that many members of the San community of Ndama, which is an informal settlement near Rundu, have open wounds and scars all over their bodies, including children and the elders. WLC has been informed that this started in February this year in Konokoma village, where some children from the Ndama visited their relatives and came back with rashes that later developed into open wounds and spread throughout the village. It noted that some community members visited nearby clinics and hospitals seeking help, but were just given paracetamol and calamine lotion to apply. Others were told to go to private pharmacies to secure medication for themselves. The treatments offered did not help, and there have been no blood tests or any other relevant tests done to determine the cause of this infection. It is reported that no staff from the Ministry of Health nor any community health workers have visited the villages to do investigations on the issue. The Women's Leadership Center and the Sun community are therefore calling on the Ministry of Health and Social Services, the Office of the President, Office of the Marginalized, and the Office of the Ombudsman to intervene and attend to this issue with absolute urgency. And the German embassy in Windhoek has provided funding to the value of about 248,000 Namibia dollars to the Ministry of Education, Arts and Culture for the procurement of a microfilm scanner to be used at the National Archive of Namibia. Receiving the microfilm scanner, it will be possible to read as well as to digitize material stored on microfilm at the National Archives, and thus make such information accessible to researchers and interested citizens. Ms. Beauty Matanga, the Chief Archivist at the National Archives of Namibia, said the National Archives preserves 7 linear meters of microfilm, and one of its goals is to provide information and to promote research. However, since 2012, these information resources had been inaccessible due to the lack of replay machines. For this reason, the German government responded positively to this quest and acquired a microfilm scanner for the National Archives. The National Archives users and the institution are now afforded opportunities for reading as well as for digitization of materials stored on microfilm, as the information is now accessible to the public, researchers and interested persons.
Welcome to Comments Corner, your daily dose of comments from the hottest social media pages. The Namibian police force in the Eronga region cannot confirm when the DNA results of the human remains that were found in Walvis Bay yesterday afternoon will be available to the public. They do, however, caution the public to not jump to conclusions and allow police to do their work. Ashley said the justice system has failed miserably. Being Dafa said they still didn't get Avi's killer, and the others claiming that Nampo gets paid for nothing. Berta said the Lord should intervene as the police get paid for nothing. Pala said the perpetrators are among them, starting from Magdalena Stoffer, Little Avihe, the current, and pleads with those who have information to speak up. Smart Martin said the police officers' English is problematic as they have zero understanding of the information he's putting across. Nashi said the Namibian police are useless, all they do is close bars and beat with civilians. Jerome said what are they waiting for more bodies to pop up before they start doing their job. And that is all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast every day, only on Today on One.
He has to listen to the information. Now, that information needs to interpret it and then convert it, and that part of the brain will then absorb the information. I think it will be a huge opportunity.
What is your true purpose, and how will I commit as a leader to continue?
When you speak about the communication and how it's being received, how do you relate to people? I mean, those respect, love, those are the crucial things before you build the solutions.
Win free airtime with One Africa TV. Share your comments on the channel. SMS your feedback, name and town to 555. One Africa TV. It just gets better.
A look at the weather forecast. The Namibia interior, partly cloudy and cold to cool in the Clarence region, with a few showers in the southwest, but partly cloudy and hot to very hot in the northeast, with a few thunder showers in the Zambezi region, elsewhere sunny and warm to hot, but very hot in the north. The coast, partly cloudy and cold to cool with fog patches at first. A few showers are expected over the extreme southern coastal areas. The wind light to moderate northwesterly to southwesterly, but fresh to strong southerly in the south at times. Now a look at minimum and maximum temperatures across the country and beyond.
niños abandonados, niños aniquilados por causa de las guerras. Quiero saber dónde está este amor que siempre pregonamos y nunca demostramos. Africa,